would call me a creation of the progressive left. I think I'm a necessary correction to the insanity on college campuses and in the media. There's no question whatsoever that American college campuses and the American media is infected with a disease, social justice. There's no question about it. I think that there's something very wonderful happening. In politics, I think Trump is doing it. In media and on campuses, I think I'm doing it. In media, you're doing it too. Pushing back against the people who want to control what you say, what you think, what you do, who you read, what video games you play, what language you can use, how you can dress, who you can hang out with. That's over now. Yes. It's not working anymore. It's all gone. It's all gone. And you can tell from the hysteria outside, you can tell from the furiousness of journalists at BuzzFeed and Gawker and Vike and Mike, Vox, whatever, all those terrible fucking places. You can tell from the ever greater hysteria about ever smaller subjects. You can tell they know the jig is up. You can tell from the atmosphere on campus. You just know, these people are it's starting to dawn on them. They're starting to get the message that saying, racist, is not going to shut people up anymore. It doesn't shut me up. It doesn't shut anyone in this audience up. Now you've got to come with facts. We'll talk about this a little bit in a minute, I think, but the death of Gawker and why I think it's a wonderful thing. And as a journalist, as a journalist, it's not very becoming of me to dance on the grave of any media publication in a time when it's so difficult to make ends meet and make anything worth it. But Gawker, more than any other publication, made people scared to make jokes. Ordinary private citizens were like, will a bored Gawker writer pick this up and ruin my life because I made a joke about AIDS? Mm-hmm. That's a sort of tyranny, and it's coming to an end. And the people who benefit from that tyranny, the mediocre, the lazy, the hateful, the fat, the facially pierced, the blue-haired, the people for whom being black is their only marketable skill. You see, sweetheart, no one's buying what you're selling anymore.
You just waited until the end of this and asked you a question in the Q&A, you would have gladly listened to her, and then you would have done a little back and
I
forth.
published a column, How to Beat Me. I wrote it down. I literally gave them an instruction book, but they're so fucking self-involved and stupid and lazy, they don't read it and they don't listen. What I said, look, no position is insurmountable, except perhaps for the rugged defense of free speech and liberty. No position is impervious to criticism or to challenge. If you don't like something I say about Black Lives Matter, as it seemed this crazy Harridan didn't, if you don't like something that I say about feminism, come to me with facts, with reason, with logic. The progressive... And just as importantly, wait your fucking turn. Before we dive into a set of facts and statistics that may boggle your mind, it's my duty to read you your Milo-approved Miranda rights. You have the right to controversial opinions and speech. You have the right to confront and to disagree with, to rebut, and to question opinions that don't match your own. You have the right to do all of that without being told that you are violating a safe space. You have the right to reject the brainwashing forced upon you by professors that make Obama look like the aforesaid Che Guevara. And most importantly, you have the right to worship your dangerous faggot. Now, I'm not a real policeman, but... No, I know. I have had some policemen in me. Sorry, I'll stop. It's cheap. It's cheap. It's cheap. You should stop laughing. It just encourages me. That's not even in here. I'm just... But I do recognize that blue lives matter. That's right, yeah. Blue lives matter. Black Lives Matter doesn't really care about black lives. It's, as we'll discuss shortly, more of a movement for attention, money, and, like most activism, more money. To achieve these goals, they focus their energies on cases of black men killed by the police. Well, the work of criminologist Dr. Richard Johnson of the University of Toledo explains just how futile this is. And some of this stuff is tough to listen to. Some of this stuff is not pleasant. It's not the kind of thing that you want to discuss over cocktails, but it's important to understand the problem if you're going to fix it, which Black Lives Matter definitely can't. Based on 2012 numbers, it would take 40 years' worth of blacks killed by police to equal the total number of blacks murdered by other blacks in a single year. Right. Less than 400 people a year are killed by cops. 61% of them are white men. 32% are black males. Black men are not killed out of proportion when you consider they're much more likely to interact with police. People are killed by police about as often as they're struck by lightning, but I don't see many protests about storms. Black males are 58% of those killed legally by private citizens in self-defense. And you think, aha, we've got you on something. Except 75% of them were killed by other blacks. FBI statistics on murder lay bare the real threat to black lives in America, and that is other blacks. Black men are about 6.5% of the US population, but they commit 52% of all murders. That has dipped to about 40% in recent years. Black men overwhelmingly murder other black people, and white people overwhelmingly murder other white people. So just like abuse and harassment on the internet, this isn't really a racial issue like that isn't really a gendered issue. Looking at overall violent crime, blacks are 27% more likely to attack whites than vice versa, and 8 times more likely to attack Hispanics. This is the shocking number I hope you take away from my visit. 90% of blacks that die of murder die at the hands of other black people, and that's from the FBI homicide report. 90%. We're not here to talk about why this happens, why 74% of black children are raised without fathers per Health and Human Services, and why the government seems intent on continuing a cycle of destruction within the black community. My message is simple. Black lives don't matter to Black Lives Matter. If they did, they'd be confronting these issues instead of ignoring them completely.
Okay, so in social circle, sorry, I can't talk today.
That's all right.
Social circles all across the nation, every group of men comes across the question: if you were forced to sleep with another man, who would it be?
Mm-hmm. Well, they all answer the same.
Right.
Me.
Yes. And I'm really disappointed. I was exactly going to say that.
I know, everybody, but I want to take the compliment out of your mouth. Why let someone else pay you a compliment when you can do it yourself?
Yeah. Well done. So, if you were forced to sleep with a woman, what would it be?
I wouldn't have to be forced.
Oh no, of course not.
There are at least 3 women I can stand to be around for more than 5 minutes. Just kidding, just kidding. I was telling UW Milwaukee my safe word. Women can be funny. Just kidding. No, not Anne. I think of Anne as more of a sister, really. Who would I sleep with? Only Rosie O'Donnell. No. No. He said woman. He said woman. No. Would not be Amy or Lena. I think Sofia Vergara. You know, the one that plays the crazy housewife in Modern Family, who I think is lovely. In fact, I could take the couple, because he's great too. Who else do I like? Amy Schumer. No. In some states, that's bestiality, you know. You'd get locked up. You'd get locked up. It's like Norwegian whaling festivals, you know. Occasionally. No, it's true. It's true. Norwegian people are very strange, and it's partly because they've got too much money, because they've got all these natural resources. They have this whaling festival, and every year there's always a story about someone who gets caught at about 3 a.m. fucking a whale corpse. Always happens, and it always puts me in mind of Amy Schumer. As I say, illegal in 7 states. Who else? I like Salma Hayek. And who's the crazy one that is in Vicky Cristina Barcelona? Penelope Cruz. Yes, Penelope Cruz. Yeah. Thank you. All right, next. I have very gay taste in women, you know, sort of like brown, big hair, skinny, big tits. I know, but they're the sort of Brazilian transsexual kind of thing.